On the news tonight, El-Rufai honors EFCC invitation as protesters storm headquarters in Abuja. Women protesters at National Assembly over reserved seats bill. Taraba community urges urgent government intervention as bridge link roads collapse. And on the foreign scene, South African authorities arraign 3 suspects over murder of Plateau student. Hello there, a very good evening. Welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. Now, the much-anticipated visit of former Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai to the EFCC has taken place, marked by drama. Days after his close encounter at the Abuja International Airport, El-Rufai appeared at the Commission's headquarters on Monday. Outside the premises, pro- and anti-El-Rufai protesters gathered alongside journalists. EFCC personnel later dispersed them with tear gas, affecting protesters, reporters and commuters. Trust TV's Noel Sampson has that report.
What began as a peaceful protest outside the EFCC headquarters in Abuja soon turned tense. Members of the mega national movement for good governance gathered at the Commission's gate ahead of El-Rufai's appearance. They carried placards calling for his prosecution over alleged financial mismanagement while in office. The protesters urged the EFCC to follow due process and resist any attempt to politicize the investigation. Security personnel were seen around the group as they conducted their protests.
The mega national movement for good governance reiterates its firm position that the ongoing persecution of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai remain a lawful and unconstitutional matter strictly between him and the government of Kaduna State. This issue must not be reduced to political drama or emotional manipulation.
And I want to assure you that the EFCC, as we know it to be, is going to do its job professionally, and we are going to attend to all the issues that you have raised in your letter. And I also want to enjoin you to continue to be peaceful in the exercise of your right, because that is what democracy is all about.
Shortly after El-Rufai arrived at the commission in the company of supporters, a second group assembled in solidarity with him. Tension rose as security operatives moved in to disperse the crowd.
Continue! If you want, shoot us! Shoot us! Shoot us!
Tear gas canisters were fired, forcing protesters, journalists, and commuters to run for safety. Some journalists reported that their equipment were briefly seized before being returned.
Over 3,000 people came here to show their concern of what is happening, but they denied them access. Unfortunately, because they are politicians, EFCC party of Nigeria, they allowed some thugs that were sent by Obasani, the governor of Kaduna State, to come and make nonsense here. They allowed them access, but they deny the people of Nigeria, the masses that sponsor themselves. Each and every 3,000, I said, they sponsor themselves to Abuja.
The situation extended beyond the EFCC premises. The Jabi Airport Road witnessed heavy traffic as tear gas spread across the area. Protesters and commuters caught in a gridlock struggle to leave the scene. Minutes after leaving the EFCC office, our crew encountered another group of protesters about 1 kilometer away. While interviews were ongoing, operatives again fired tear gas, dispersing the crowd and affecting journalists covering the protests.
Today we came here in solidarity to escort our leader, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, who is going to honor invitation of the EFCC. But unfortunately, what we are seeing today is not what we expect. This is not the Nigeria we expect, because there is partiality. There were people who were rented allegedly by a commissioner in Kaduna, who is Mama Lagos. He is commissioner of local government, and those people were allowed to go close to the EFCC gate. Let's continue.
We must fight for our right. Protesting is a constitutional right. We have every right to protest. This will not stop. This will only increase us.
Are you protesting violently or not?
No, we are not. We are peaceful demonstrators.
Peacefully,
please. Nobody deals with any weapon. What is happening? We are only here. The voice of the voiceless will be heard.
Concerns over the treatment of journalists have resurfaced. Data from media rights groups shows that between 2019 and 2025, at least 94 journalists were attacked and 21 killed across Nigeria. In 2025 alone, 86 cases were recorded, including arrests, assaults, and 2 killings, with most incidents reported in Lagos and Abuja. Media advocates say repeated incidents of harassment continue to affect Nigerians' press freedom ranking globally. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the federal government has filed a 3-count charge against former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, over the alleged interception of communications belonging to Nigeria's National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. Last week, El-Rufai claimed in an interview that he and other unnamed individuals listened to conversations from Ribadu's phone after it was tapped by a third party. While acknowledging that such interception is technically unlawful, he argued that illegal surveillance was not unusual. However, the federal government, through the Department of State Services (DSS), filed charges against El-Rufai at the Federal High Court in Abuja. According to the charge sheet obtained on Monday, the government stated that El-Rufai admitted that he and his cohorts allegedly intercepted the NSA's phone conversations. The charge filed at the Federal High Court of Nigeria, Abuja Judicial Division, lists the federal government of Nigeria as the complainant and Malam Nasir El-Rufai as the defendant. And in another development, the Speaker of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, Yusuf Liman, has confirmed that the Assembly received a letter from the Coalition of Kaduna Stakeholders Forum, led by Ambassador Yerima Shatima, calling for the prosecution of former Governor Nasir El-Rufai over allegations leveled against him during his time in office. Bella Musa completes the report.
Presenting the letter of complaint to the Speaker at the Kaduna State House of Assembly, the leader of the protesters, Yerima Shatima, said the group would resist any attempt by any individual or group to undermine democracy in the country. He added that they are demanding accountability from former Governor Nasir El-Rufai.
We are glad that today he has decided to submit himself to the EFCC. There are 2 basic issues. One on abuse of human rights and the other one on issue of accountability. No single individual will take what belongs to the public, amass the wealth, and sit down, look at the face of Nigerian people, specifically Kaduna State, and abuse our sensibility.
The Kaduna State House of Assembly assured the protesters that as elected representatives, they have a duty to listen to the demands of citizens and act within the confines of the law.
We share same commitment, same pains, same concern. We are absolutely with you. We stand by our words. We stand by our documented findings.
Similarly, while briefing journalists in Kaduna, the stakeholders forum called on relevant authorities to carry out a full investigation into the allegations against the former governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai.
On the EFCC, ICPC, and all relevant authorities, do not hesitate, do not falter, investigate fully. If culpable, prosecute decisively. Precedents must be set. The rule of law must prevail. The truth must take its course. No one is above the law. Not El-Rufai, not his friends, not his political patrons. The people of Kaduna State, the Kaduna Stakeholders Forum, will not rest until the law is respected.
Kabbalah costume traders also staged a peaceful demonstration in Kaduna over the non-completion of market projects in the area.
We are here to send our message to the governor based on what is going on in our market due to the situation that we find ourselves. Over 8 years now, the demolition of our market, nothing has been done. So we are here to lend our complaint so that this government will come and rescue us.
We have listened to your grievances. You are all aware of the fact that the issue that you have brought to bear is not an issue that this government actually caused. It is one of the issues that we inherited. And now that you have come to lay bare your grievances, I want to assure you that His Excellency the Governor is a listening governor. He's a governor who actually does justice to all, no matter whose ox is God.
According to the traders, the abandoned market projects have crippled many business activities in the area. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And joining us via Zoom to discuss El-Rufai's battles is a professor of political sociology, Yakubu Gowon University, former University of Abuja, Professor Abubakar Kari. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Oh, okay. Now, opinions are divided about what El-Rufai has been up to lately. What do you make of what is playing out?
Well, I think you make allusion to it. It's high-tech politics, high-wire politics. It's a political drama that may turn out to be a long-drawn one. El-Rufai, it appears, has decided to take up the ruling party headlong. Obviously, he's doing that on behalf of the Nigerian opposition. And for those who are familiar with his historical trajectory, this is not surprising. He's somebody who's not afraid to fight battles. And I think this is exactly what he's doing. He's fighting so many battles in so many fronts in Kaduna State, as your various reports are show, against the DSS, ICPC, EFCC, and so on and so forth. So, and all this point out to the fact that the politics of 2027s have actually started in earnest. This political drama appears, as I mentioned earlier on, to be a long drawn out one because it will continue.
You still with us? I'm afraid we have lost contact with our guest on the program for tonight. We hope to rejoin him as soon as we get clear signals. Moving on, the United States has frozen the assets and properties of 8 Nigerians over alleged links to Boko Haram and the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. In a document released by the Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control, authorities say the action forms part of wider counter-terrorism measures targeting individuals designated as specially designated nationals. Those named include Saleh Yusuf Adamu, convicted in 2022 of helping establish a Boko Haram fundraising cell in the United Arab Emirates. Also listed are Abu Mus'ab al-Barnawi, Khalid al-Barnawi, Ibrahim Ali al-Hassan, Abu Bakr ibn Muhammad, Mainuki and Nnamdi Orson Benson. OFAC says the sanctions block any property or financial interests under U.S. jurisdiction and prohibit transactions with the designees. Now, the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria has rejected claims in a U.S. congregational bill alleging a Christian genocide in Nigeria, calling the narrative false and dangerous. In a statement, Secretary General Nafiu Baba Ahmed condemned what he described as the targeting of Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso over allegations. The council acknowledged Nigeria's security challenges, including terrorism, banditry, and organized crime, but stressed there is no state-sponsored or religiously driven policy to exterminate Christians. It warned that reducing the country's complex security situation to a simplistic genocide narrative is misleading and could inflame tensions. The SCSN also criticized reliance on unverified media reports and anecdotal accounts, urging international bodies to base decisions on credible research and engagement with experts. About 100 United States military personnel, along with equipment, have arrived at Bauchi Airfield to support the Nigerian armed forces in training, technical assistance, and intelligence cooperation, the Defense Headquarters announced on Monday. The Director of Defense Information, Major General Samaila Uba, said the deployment is part of ongoing Nigeria-U.S. defense collaboration and follows recent working group talks between the two militaries. The initiative aims to strengthen Nigeria's ability to deter terrorist attacks, threats, and protect vulnerable communities, with U.S. personnel serving strictly as technical advisors and not combat troops. Joint exercises and intelligence-focused cooperation will help Nigeria's troops enhance capacity to identify, counter, and neutralize extremist groups. The deployment underscores deepening defense ties between Nigeria and the United States in the fight against terrorism. And our reporter in Bauchi State, Adamu Imam, is joining us via phone call to give us more updates. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Now, what are people in Bauchi saying concerning the troops redeployment?
Okay, well, actually, we received the news of redeployment of the troops from the United States military arriving in Bauchi this evening to some of the reports from the BBC and other international media. And most of the people here are acting, saying that they don't even know they are coming. So perhaps if that should be the case, Bauchi is relatively known as a peaceful state, particularly here in the Northeast. So why coming to Bauchi at this moment? Because they realize that most of the area that's invaded by this insurgency, Bauchi is not part of it. So these are some of the actions that people are talking about this evening at the moment.
Okay, so of course, they say they are not aware of this redeployment. So what is their reaction? Are they suspicious? Do they feel safe with the presence of...
Well, there are different views, opinions and mixed reactions coming from the people. Particularly one Sadiq Usman that I spoke with him this evening. He said that it's very, very unfortunate that it's as a result of inability of the Nigerian troops to counter or to tackle this insurgency that is bedeviling the country. That is why we are witnessing this unfortunate event or unfortunate situation that the troops of the U.S. military are coming to Nigeria at this moment, particularly Bauchi State. But when I spoke with Comrade Yalwa, the security expert here in Bauchi, working with the Bauchi State Polytechnic and the Crime Management Department, he described the situation as a very, very unfortunate situation because of, he mentioned that the government lacked focus on issues of security policies in order to tackle this insurgency right from the onset, coming down to this level at this moment. So these are some of the actions we had from the people here in the capital city here in Bauchi this evening.
Adamu, we hope you will keep a tap on developments around there and fill us in as soon as there are new developments. Thank you once again for your contributions.
Thank you very much.
In other news of the day, residents of Majangobir, Magaji and Yanunku villages in Rimi and Charanchi local government areas of Katsina State have been thrown into deep mourning following the killing of the divisional police officer in Rimi by suspected bandits on Friday. A 13-year-old girl, Fatima Magaji, was also shot dead during the tragic attack. The shocking incident has left families grieving and stirred renewed fears among the creeping wave of insecurity in an area long considered relatively peaceful. Trust TV's Abdullah Yamadi visited the affected communities and now reports.
The atmosphere in Magaji is heavy as faces reflect shock, pain, and uncertainty. For many residents, the killing of the DPO and the young girl is not just another security incident, but one that is deeply personal. Community members describe the fallen officer as courageous, approachable, and committed to protecting lives and property. They say he responded swiftly to distress calls and was often seen leading operations from the front. One resident, visibly shaken, said the officer gave them reassurance in difficult times. Whenever there was tension, he would show up. He was not the type to stay behind. He was always at the front. The officer was brilliant, intelligent, religious, humble, and human wherever he went. The resident said, for years, Rimi local government area had enjoyed relative peace, with many believing that the wave of banditry affecting other parts of the state might never reach them. That sense of safety, residents say, is now shattered. The attack has revived painful questions about the vulnerability of rural communities and the risks faced daily by security personnel working under challenging conditions. What started like a child's play escalated into killings. The suspected bandits invaded the village around midnight on Thursday. Within minutes, the DPO arrived and engaged them. The confrontation lasted 4 hours. Unknown to the security team, the attackers had mobilized reinforcements and eventually overpowered them. Unfortunately, he was killed. May his soul rest in peace. I appeal for a more coordinated approach that prioritizes early response to early warning. That way, we can prevent such occurrences and their bloody consequences and stop crises from escalation. I pray that the souls of the DPO and young Fatima are granted Al-Jannah Firdausi. Across Majangobir and Yanunku villages, elders gathered, reflecting on the officers' contributions. Some offered prayers, others struggled to hold back tears. They say his death is a huge loss, not only to his immediate family, but to the entire local government While mourning the fallen officer, community members say they remain hopeful that his sacrifice will not be in vain. They urge authorities to strengthen security presence in the area and ensure that those responsible are brought to justice. For now, however, a grief hangs over the villages, a painful reminder of the human cost of insecurity.
She was simply caught in a storm she never asked for. When blood is shed, it does not ask who is guilty or blameless. It stains the soul, the homes, and the hearts of mothers and fathers who only want their children to live in peace. Now she has been killed, and her father was fatally wounded by bullets.
As residents continue to mourn, they say the memory of the slain DPO will remain etched in their hearts, as he was to them a symbol of bravery in the face of danger and a call for urgent action to restore peace. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And away from issues of insecurity, a coalition of women's groups on Monday staged a solidarity rally at the National Assembly in Abuja, calling for the immediate passage of the bill seeking reserved seats for women in state and federal parliaments. The protesters said with the timetable for the 2027 general elections already released, urgent legislative action is needed to enable political parties begin implementation ahead of the polls. The demonstrators, including women with disabilities, said increasing women's representation in governance would strengthen inclusion, improve policy outcomes, and deepen democratic participation across the country. Advocacy leaders addressed the crowd, urging lawmakers to prioritize the bill as part of ongoing constitutional reforms. Responding on behalf of the House of Representatives, spokesperson Honorable Akin Rotumi assured the group that the National Assembly remains committed to reforms that promote inclusiveness. He disclosed that about 40 constitutional amendment bills will soon be subjected to electronic voting and encouraged sustained engagement with lawmakers.
Women are dying in the maternity death road. You have 14 houses of assembly that has doesn't even have a single woman. So who is deciding on issues of women? Women, you know, in terms of maternal death, we have where Nigeria is the last 5 in the world. As if we're at war. As if any woman who is pregnant today is on a maternity death road.
We are looking at an election cycle come 2027 where we will see women to be able to go to the polls and to be voted for. And so a word of caution is the timeliness. We are asking them to please look at the timelines, look at the urgency of the bill and the ability to pass this bill in enough time.
To any lawmaker that has not changed their mind yet on the bill, I want you to listen to me. You're not doing it for just us, you're doing it for your wives, your mothers, you're doing it for the future of your unborn kids. You know, the posterity will look back at you. They would say, yes, the 10th House of Assembly left a legacy, and that's what we want for you. We want the best for you.
In every country, there's a budget. So I believe the budget will be increased to accommodate more women in the National Assembly and the state houses of assembly.
We have so many men and women in the assembly that believe that having 14 women out of 360 women in the House of Representatives is a gross injustice. Having 4 women out of 109 in the Senate is a gross injustice. Having over 20-something plus of state houses of assembly that don't have a single woman in the state house of assembly is a gross injustice. So I want you to know that we have heard you, we have listened to you, and this has been reflected in the constitutional amendment bills that are currently before the National Assembly.
And in a separate development, Farmers in Yenagua on Monday staged a protest at the entrance of the Bayelsa State Government House, drawing attention to what they described as repeated destruction of their farmlands by herders. Carrying uprooted cassava stems, many of the elderly women said the damage will severely affect their harvest and deepen hardship for their families. The protesters appealed to the state government for urgent intervention, insisting that their main source of livelihood has been ruined. They urged authorities to protect farming communities and prevent further losses.
As I go this morning, carry my load to go to work. As I go to my farm, I look to recognize my farm again. Everything, they don't put everything. And the old farm now, namachit. Some of them take their hand, all this one and their hand with them, they uproot them. No, not like that. Not get money, sir. I will take to get out. Not get money, sir. I will take survive alive. Oh, I will take survive alive.
Now, the lawmaker representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti Oduagan, has again engaged in a heated confrontation with a colleague. The latest confrontation reportedly took place in the office of the Benue West Senator, Titus Zam. In a video of the incident, Natasha was heard saying, "I have your mate at home." This is coming barely 1 week after the female lawmaker engaged in a heated exchange with Imo North Senator Patrick Ndubweze. This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Taraba community urges urgent government intervention as bridge link roads collapse. More news when we return after the break. Do stay. You're welcome back. This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Now let's take a quick look at the major stories once again. El-Rufai honors EFCC invitation as protesters storm headquarters. And women protest at National Assembly over special seats bill. Moving on to other stories now. Goods worth hundreds of millions of naira have been destroyed in Port Harcourt following protests over the killing of a resident in Igurota. The arrest began after Inchelem Samuel Festus was allegedly stabbed while a dispute broke out during efforts to recover a stolen motorcycle. Youths accused northern riders of responsibility, blocked the airport road, and demanded restrictions on their operations. Tension escalated further. Oil mill market where another trader, Higginton Wenham from Benue State, was fatally stabbed in a disagreement over space, sparking attacks on businesses. Chairman of the Hausa community, Musa Saidu, condemned the violence and warned against ethnic profiling, urging authorities to prosecute offenders. The Rivers State Police Command says a suspect has been arrested and calm has been restored. The National Bureau of Statistics has released the January 2026 inflation rate. According to MBS, Consumer Price Index, which measured inflation rate, decreased from 15.15% in December 2025 to 15.10% in the month of January. Yusuf Akogu gets reactions of some Nigerians on the new data.
Nigeria's headline inflation eased to 15.10% in January 2026. The decline is contrary to analysts' projection of an increase in the figure to between 18 and 19%. January's inflation reflects a deceleration in both the food and core basket, which decreased to 8.89% and 17.72% respectively. A cross-section of FCT residents expressed divergent views about the first inflation data for 2026. According to them, NBS statistics is different from the reality of everyday life in Nigeria.
I don't think they come to market. I don't know where they stay and band together those figures. But I come to buy fruits personally because, I have a variety of fruits I take. But experience is that so cost of things are going on. So when I hear they say cost of food, they just mention rice, as if rice is the only thing we eat in Nigeria. It's laughable. Cost of things are increasing.
When government says things have reduced in the market, I don't know if they are talking to children or adults like us. Things are even getting worse.
Some things are dropping, to be honest. Or let me say our expectation was that these things were going to go high because of the hike in petrol, but thankfully things are relatively stable. So if the government can continue what they are doing and then bring these things, because food is a necessity. If Nigerians have the access to affordable food, I think half of the problem is solved. So what I think the government is trying to get that part right, so they should continue whatever they are doing and then bring the prices of food. And if there can be price control, that commodities shouldn't exceed a limit, then it will be a fair thing for everybody, both to the sellers and to the buyers.
Price dropping? No, nothing like that. Price I think it's only beans. Even the beans is already going up again. So what are we saying? So I came to the market. In fact, with the money I came with, I can't even afford. Look at it now. Look at what my leather is carrying. And if I tell you the amount I spent inside this leather.
Economic analysts say the recent CPI normalization has created a lower base for January comparison. Nigeria's inflation data are closely monitored by the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) as it transitions toward an inflation-targeting monetary policy framework. Yusuf Akogu, Trust Television News, Abuja.
High-level delegations have continued to arrive in Kano following the devastating fire that razed Singa Market, destroying goods worth billions of naira. Trust TV's Abdulaziz has that report.
Kashim Shettima on Monday led a federal government delegation to the state, delivering the condolence and solidarity of President Bola Tinubu to traders affected by Saturday's inferno. The vice president announced a donation of 5 billion naira to support victims and assured that authorities will investigate the cause of the fire.
President Bola Tinubu has approved the release of 5 billion naira to the government of Kano State to serve as palliatives to our distressed businessmen. And the All Progressive Congress Governors Forum, under the able and competent leadership of Governor Hope Odidika Uzodima, has also pledged 3 billion naira support to the victims of the power incident in Singa Market.
Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf reaffirmed both federal and state commitment to rebuilding the market and helping traders recover from their losses. Meanwhile, Samuel Olumode, Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, said the agency will work with market authorities to strengthen safety infrastructure and prevent a reoccurrence.
So investigation is still ongoing to know the numbers of casualties. Presently, I cannot say how many lives being lost, but presently we are going to set up an investigative committee. So there will be an establishment of a fire post with a fire trucks inside this market, in which the men will be able to run 24-hour shifts to prevent this kind of a thing. Before I leave here, I will have a brief meeting with the leadership of the market to know the next steps to take. Because of the crowdedness of the market, no access road for firefighters. So the leadership of the market needs to help the firefighters so we can be able to prevent the occurrence of this kind of a fire henceforth.
He emphasized the importance of modern fire prevention systems and pledged federal support to enhance safety and improve the market's resilience against future incidents. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
And from Kano, we take you to Adamawa State, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commissioned several landmark projects, including a state-of-the-art underpass flyover, model schools, and a newly constructed government house complex. The projects executed by Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri are part of his administration's ongoing urban renewal drive aimed at transforming the state's infrastructure landscape. Trust TV's Gimson Swadigo now reports.
Governor Ahmadu Fintiri, alongside 6 of his colleagues, received President Bola Ahmed Tinubu upon arrival in Adamawa State and accompanied him to various project sites for commissioning. The president, who was in the state on an official visit, formally inaugurated underpass flyover, the model schools, the government house complex, and other strategic projects designed to enhance governance and improve service delivery. Speaking at the ceremony, Governor Ahmadu Fintiri expressed appreciation to the president for honoring his invitation in personally commissioning the projects. He highlighted key achievements of his administration, noting the priority has been given to urban renewal, education, security, agriculture, as well as youth and women empowerment initiatives.
Mr. President, we invited you to Adamawa State to do more than project commission. It is to appreciate you for what you are doing for Nigeria. It's to make you relate firsthand with the result of your policy in the country. Your proper grasp of the tenets of federalism and the need to devote more resources and responsibilities to the sub-national government is solid the reason behind our performance and achievement.
In his remarks, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu commended Governor Ahmadu Fintiri for what he described as bold and transformative efforts in reshaping the developmental trajectory of Adamawa State. The president reaffirmed his administration's commitment to safeguarding lives and property while intensifying efforts to deliver the dividends of democracy to Nigerians across the country.
I am really delighted to be here in Yola, and I must state carefully and expressively that I am grateful for the warm reception, the joy in the heart of the people. The stage appeared virtually locked down, celebrating and happy. Thank you, Mr. Governor.
The ceremony also featured colorful traditional dances and cultural performances, adding vibrancy and celebration to the historic occasion. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Residents of Seriti Town in Gashaka local government area of Taraba State are calling on government authorities to urgently construct a major bridge and rehabilitate access roads linking several villages and connecting Nigeria to Cameroon. They say continued neglect is worsening hardship, disrupting cross-border trade and threatening food security in the region. Hassan Lawal Koli has the details.
Seriti, a border community of strategic economic importance, serves as a key transit route linking Nigeria to Cameroon. However, for years, Residents say the absence of a functional bridge and the deplorable condition of the access road have made movement extremely difficult, especially during the rainy season. Traders transporting soft drinks, food items and other commodities across the border often experience long delays, vehicle breakdowns and significant financial losses. Locals explain that while the journey to Cameroon takes about 5 to 6 hours during the dry season, the situation becomes far worse when the rains begin. During the dry season, accessibility is less of a problem, and it takes about 5 to 6 hours from here to Cameroon. However, during the rainy season, it can take almost a full day to reach Cameroon. Community leaders describe the dilapidated bridge as the most pressing infrastructural challenge facing the area. They say although government officials have visited the area to inspect and access the site, actual construction works has yet to commence. Beyond transportation difficulties, residents warn that the situation is negatively affecting agricultural activities and food supply as farmers struggle to move produce to market within and outside Nigeria. Healthcare delivery is also severely impacted, particularly during heavy rains when some villages become completely cut off. This situation is deeply affecting healthcare services. Villages that depend on this bridge cannot transport patients to hospital during the rainy season. We urgently appeal to the government to address this problem. Residents are now calling on both state and federal authorities to prioritize the construction of the bridge and rehabilitation of the road. They believe improved infrastructure will not only ease movement for commuters, but also boost revenue generation, strengthen cross-border trade, and enhance food security in the region. Hassan Laonkoli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
And turning to business news now. The importation of petrol into Nigeria dropped sharply in January. A report by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority shows premium motor spirit importation falling by 42% to about 24.8 million liters per day, down from over 42 million in December. At the same time, supply from the Dangote Petroleum Refinery rose by more than 25% to 40.1 million liters daily. Despite the improvement, local supply declined to 64.9 million liters per day. The regulator says the country maintained 33 days of sufficiency, while actual consumption averaged just above 60 million liters per day, higher than the 50 million liter benchmark. And away from Nigeria, the South African police on Monday arraigned 3 suspects at the Pretoria Magistrates Court in connection with the kidnapping and murder of 22-year-old Plateau State student Isaac Satlat, whose body was discovered on February the 11th. The deceased, who was also an e-hailing driver, was abducted and murdered by some passengers who had requested his service. His body and the stolen car later discovered in Atteridgeville in the Moshongo province of Pretoria. South African National Prosecuting Authority, NPA, spokesperson Lumka Mahanjana, who confirmed the development in a statement, said the 3 suspects identified as Dekeledi Tiers Pella, Gosi Tiane Machidi, and McLaren Mushwana made a brief appearance before the court on Monday morning and have been remanded in prison custody while the case was adjourned to February the 23rd, 2026.
They are facing a charge of premeditated murder and robbery with aggravating circumstances. In court, they opted to abandon their bail application, and the matter was postponed to the 23rd of February for further investigations.
Isaac, obviously, is a young man who's very sociable, very adventurous, 22. He was actually supposed to be turning 23 on the 12th of March. So in a few weeks, he was supposed to turn 23. Unfortunately, we don't have him anymore. He's very creative with his hands. That's why he studied automobile engineering, because he loves to do stuff. He loves to touch stuff. And he's a very likable guy, sociable. He does a bit of modeling with his friends. He helps out in church. The family is looking forward to hearing that these guys are going to be in prison. I think by then, that would be when they would begin to bring closure. But for now, they're going to pain his mother in Nigeria and two of his siblings. They're still shocked. And I think they're going to be more broken when his body arrives in Nigeria. When we repatriate his body to Nigeria, that's when they're going to...
They should have just taken him as a hostage or something, asked for ransom, we're going to pay them. Not killing a future of a family. He was the first child and the only son in the family. The two siblings are in Nigeria and the mom. And the father, as we speak, the last blood pressure I checked this morning was 229/130. It refuses to go down. They are not coping. The last time the mom saw him was 2016 when she came with the siblings to visit.
A workers' strike has disrupted flights and air traffic control operations at Kenya's main airport on Monday, the national courier said. Kenyan Airways warned passengers of possible schedule adjustments, including delays, and advised them not to proceed to the airport without first confirming their flight's status. Hub. Last week, the Kenyan Aviation Workers Union gave notice of a strike starting on Monday over unresolved grievances, including an employment agreement that is stalled in negotiations. KAU threatened a total shutdown of Kenyan airspace if its demand were not met by Monday. Passengers online on Monday morning complained of long waits on the runway of JKIA after boarding flights. Other local airports were also affected by the go-slow. And for a bit on sports, we join Kabir Lawal for Sports Update.
National Sports Commission (NSA) has officially constituted the Local Organizing Committee (LOC) for the third edition of the National Para Games, reaffirming its commitment, inclusivity, empowerment, and the continued development of para sports in Nigeria. The National Para Games is an annual multi-sport event organized by federal government of Nigeria through the National Sports Commission. The Games provide a competitive platform for Nigerian men and women living with disabilities, promoting excellence, healthy competition, and national unity through sports. The Commission has now constituted a 13-member local organizing committee made up of men and women of integrity to deliver a world-class games. The committee is chaired by the Director of National Sports Festival and Parasports Department, Mrs. Telfe Opara, while Mrs. Awa Shaibu serves as Secretary. Other members of the committee include Raphael Odu, Mohammed Rabiu, Abdullahi Libata, Lambu Umar, Dr. Uzi Salami, Kola Daniel, Adenyoju, Lame Ogunjobi, Edwil Owefi, Isaac Suleiman, Asabe Pius. The leadership of the commission has mandated the committee to deliver the games under an atmosphere of fair play and sportsmanship in line with the global best practices, as preparation intensifies toward what promises to be another landmark edition of the National Para Games.
The sports earmarked for the 3rd National Para Games include amputee football, para-athletics, para-badminton, para-canoe, para-cycling, para-karate, para-powerlifting, and para-shooting. Others are para-soccer, para-swimming, para-taekwondo, para-table tennis, sitting volley, wheelchair, basketball, and wheelchair tennis. The 3rd National Para Games is scheduled to hold from 26 March to 3rd April 2026 at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, the same venue that hosted the previous editions. The maiden edition in 2022 featured over 40,000 para-athletes from 21 states competing across 15 sports, with Bayelsa State emerging overall champions. The 2nd edition expanded participation to all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, with Bayelsa State again clinching the championship title. The National Sport Festival and Parasport Development coordinates the games in collaboration with the Nigerian Paralympic Committee (NPC) and other stakeholders to ensure smooth organization and alignment with international standards. That's Sport News. I am Kabir Lawal.
And with that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV for tonight. And do not forget to follow us on our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. Many thanks for watching. Good night.